Next up in the Daily Mail, stop the press, it's a man in a dress. Or is it? The police may have something to say about this, Josh.
Yes, Sussex Police. Women's right campaigner demands probe after Sussex Police warn it is hateful to say trans paedophile was a man after they sexually abused 7 children. So this is amazing. I saw this play out.
And we're going with they, are we? In order to avoid having an opinion on this.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. So I've been following this the last few days online. It's unbelievable. So this person, this biological man, and by the way, it should be pointed out, hasn't had a gender recognition certificate or anything. He's still a man, even though he identifies as a woman now. Basically abused lots of children historically, has just been sent to jail for 18 years, by the way, to a women's jail, but that's a separate thing that we could talk about. And that was put out by the Sussex Police to say that we've done it. And women protesters stood up, and some men said, this is ridiculous. Why are you saying that this is a woman who committed this crime? By the way, when they committed the crime, they did it as a man.
Right.
And
all of them, they've only committed crimes as a man.
As a man, yeah. And by the way, 98% of sexual assaults, whether you identify as a woman or not, is by biological men. But then what happened, this is the unbelievable thing, that Sussex Police on Twitter then started defending this paedophile. So you've got this situation. So first of all, by them saying it's this person's a woman, first of all, that's re-traumatising for the victims. It's insulting to women and to anybody who just understands science. And, of course, it messes with these crime statistics that suddenly women are massively overrepresented from before in terms of sexual abuse and whatnot, or they're actually going to go with the feelings of a paedophile. I mean, it's madness. And then, so someone stepped in, a gender-critical feminist stepped in and said, excuse me, this is wrong that you're pushing this. And they said, hey, we don't accept any hateful crimes, and sort of seemed to insinuate that she was breaking the law. Yeah. And then everyone was like, OK, then come on, where have we broken the law here? And then they obviously haven't, and especially now because of Maya Forster, she had shown that it's legal to have these gender-critical views, and they've had to back down, and they've deleted the tweet since. But it's ridiculous. I mean, the people running these accounts are, not even children, they're idiots.
Yeah. I mean, it strikes me there are 3 things. There's in court, in prison and in the press. And, the point... I mean, to be fair, in court, the crimes were clearly attributed to a man, which makes the subsequent behaviour kind of bonkers, because the acknowledgement in the court said it has actually been recorded as a male crime, which is absolutely fundamentally important, because otherwise you start, as you say, to distort the crime figures. Then there's the question about in prison. I mean, is it actually acceptable? Because... for all the vulnerable groups there are, female prisoners are hyper-vulnerable and are frequently themselves victims of sexual assault and so on and so forth, and drug misuse and etc. Is it right to put somebody who doesn't even have a gender recognition certificate into that context? I think that's the second question.
An intact male.
An intact male. And the third thing is how you report this in the press. So when you see the headline, a woman abuses, blah, 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 that seems to me to distort the perception. So I would say that it's worth thinking of it in those 3 terms and making sure that actually in each case you're being accurate and conveying the right impression.
Woman convicted of historic offences against children in Sussex is the photograph. I mean, you just feel like, I mean, that word gaslighting, it comes up again and again, doesn't it? It's just absurd. And it's genuinely Orwellian. It's absolutely core.
It's this peculiar notion, I think, too, that is so strong at the moment that somehow feelings trump material reality. Yeah. And, of course, feelings are important, and you have to... It's worth listening to feelings. I accept that.
But the feeling of a paedophile?
Hang on a second. It's worth listening. I didn't say what you do about them is different. Fair enough. Let's listen. Fine. But actually, you then say, no, but now we're going to do this. And we make a solution. You should do that at work. If somebody says that was racist, that was sexist, OK, listen. But at that point, you then have to have a dialogue and create a solution which actually works.
It's not just feelings. The fact is it's a very narrow range of... it's a particular phenomenon that we're talking about.
It is, but I think it comes from a notion that the subjective, my experience, my fear, my feelings, my this, my that, my the next thing, that itself now becomes the way in which people interpret the world without recognising that actually our interpretation of ourselves, our sense of ourselves, is actually discovered in relation to other people.
And you're having police defending that is my feeling.
But that's clearly, as you say, some child in the social media department. But they shouldn't be allowed to do that. Absolutely the training, the backup should not allow them to make those kind of ludicrous statements.